Hello everyone from sunny Budapest. FRC is back one more time after a month without any racing, and we're starting around 10 out of 16. We're getting very close to the end of the season, and the battle for the championship is still on. Time to get back to racing. The weather forecast showed us some rain before this session, but it seems like most likely the whole session will be held with dry conditions, with such buggy textures. Unfortunately, I don't know how to fix it, but whatever. Our last race was held right before the new year, on the 30th of December. Now it's 2nd of February, and it's been even more than 1 month since our last race. And also talking about the past, it's been 2 race wins in a row from Vuji Carmen. He won a Silverstone and he won at Nürburgring, and most likely he's one of the favorites to win the Hungarian Grand Prix as well. Now let's try and fight him on the track, and there he is. A Ferrari driver. And these 2 wins helped him to get into the 2nd position in the championship. He's only 19 points away from the championship leader Jake Tilsley. Now let's get back to Rain Adam. He already completed 2 sectors and completes the hairpin and another one. Crosses the line and it's 1:19.355. Fraser up to 1st place, but will the championship leader be faster? Not quite. Seems like there was a mistake on Jake Tilsley's lap. Rodrigo Jimenez P4. Maybe just Fraser with such a great lap time.
Second row, well done.
But I'm not so sure about it. Here's Adam Hidayat. Also one of the contenders for winning the title this year. Andrelli P6, Armin P2, and Blackwood on P4. That is Benji Rushton, Erika Hanebusa, Roser Martinez on P4. That's a good time. Abovic P3 and Gitio Bagus. Will he stop Dane Fraser? At least in this Q1. No, he's on P18. What is happening to him? That was a really mistake. But if I'm not mistaken, the Hungarian is the shortest track in this year's calendar, and probably that's why even such a small mistake can cost you a lot of time. Max Mittler. What seems to be a problem with him? What's happened? Oh, there was a mechanical problem, as he's lost his wheel, but he could make it into the pits, and yeah, that's where he ruined lap for Aditya Bagus. I think the Indonesian was not really aware of the problems that Max Miller had, and even if he knows, I don't think he will forgive Max for that. That was a good lap for him, but he only ends up on P21. It makes sense, I think, that Fraser is really good in this Q1. He already won a race here in 2011. And he did it with Ferrari, as he was training for this team from 2010. And his last year was 2012. Talking about his performances, in 2010, actually I was wrong, in 2010 he was racing for Red Bull, and he didn't finish the race. He won in 2011, but in 2012 it was a disaster for him again, as his engine blew up. So, 3 races and 1 win, with 2 retirements. McLaren is not the fastest team this season, but you can already see who is the pro at this Hungarian track. Will he stay on top of the standings in Q1, or someone will beat him? It's still 10 minutes to go. And probably still too early to say who will get the pole. I've been talking a lot about Fraser, but what about other midfield team drivers? Like Ben Russian, he's on P7. That's a great performance. And of course, again, it's one of the Sauber drivers, and it is Andrew Paracelsus. The driver from Guam is on 4th position. And Haku Jakaza is on P5. That's just amazing. Martinez is on P6 as well. Croker P10. He's from Force India. Rain Adam on P11. Yeah, imagine an Asia team top 5. We already had an HRT on high positions at Hungarian, and its engine just blew up. when I was just saying that. That was a pretty fun moment when I think it was in 2011. And that's when I changed him. I mean, one of the HRT drivers. I don't even remember who that was. Smither goes up into 12th place, but it's not enough to secure a spot in Q2. He did up into 8th, and it's weird to say that Ferrari might not. One of Ferraris might not be in Q2. Pasalic up into 4th place. What is going on? Martinez P7, then Adam, Luan. Bagus is on P6. Akshak is a P2, wow.
First row, well done, great drive.
Abovich is on P4. And it's raining, ladies and gentlemen, with 8 minutes to go. And yeah, it's pouring quite heavily. Andrade up into P11, Oscar P19. Now Fernando Tost, and he's up into B2. It's McLaren 1-2. That's interesting. Bejarson is coming into the piece like probably every other driver, but not Rosetta Martinez. And what was Meter? He's in the knockout zone again on P18. Wow, Akaza, what are you doing? 7 minutes to go, it's raining, but I cannot really say that it is enough to make the track wet before the start of Q2. Because we know how stupid is the GP4 logic when it comes to mid-session rain. Because we had a lot of races when the drivers started on slicks, then it started raining right on the 3rd or 4th lap of the race, or just a bit later, and it was a heavy rain. It lasted for 30 minutes or even longer, but the track was still dry. But as you can see, it's wet on the pit lane. It's wet on the pit lane entrance. Are there any other spots on the track where it's pretty damp? Let's see. At least there is no such place on Sector 3. No, actually there is. Right there. I don't think anyone will use intermediates. In these final 6 minutes of the session, but I guess we can already conclude who is out. Rain Adam is coming out on slicks, and it stopped raining. Probably there is still some corners with wet asphalt, and probably the track temperature also dropped down. Oh, never mind, it's raining again. Here are the McLaren boys. One of them, actually. Chilling on the pit lane. And he already knows that he's through. It's McLaren 1-2 in Q1. Hurricane's out again. Russian Hayabusa as well, just like others. Now let's see if this rain will affect traverse times. But I think that it certainly will. So I'm on board with Adam Hida yet. It's already wet and slippery on sector 1. And of course it will cost some time for Aditya. As... oh, the difference is 7/10 of a second. The rain has stopped again, but it doesn't mean that, for example, Hidet or any other driver can gain 7/10 of a second back out of nowhere. Because sector 1 and sector 3 are almost completely wet, as you can see. Also half of sector 2, but it's these chicanes, which makes it very difficult to control the car. Already 1 second. It's already 1 second gap. So out of Q1, with 4 minutes to go, we have Rain Adam, Max Mittler and Rodrigo Jimenez. And then Sam Doskan, Alex Luan and Niklas Johansson. Hidayat already finishes his session. You can see a checkered flag on the right side of his name. Rain Adam as well as Max Mittler. Nobody is going to continue because it's actually pointless. Here is Ian Fraser coming out of the final corner to be 3 seconds slower than his personal best, but he is on P1. And oh, you already can see spray in the final hairpin. And yeah, it is actually getting really wet here. And I think that the lap times will be even slower in Q2. I think the cause of this was that some drivers were actually expecting rain, some decided to stay... Oh my gosh, it's Santino Andreoli! Santino Andreoli, what's happened to him? What kind of problem he had? And it was a puncture. It was a puncture.
2 minutes remaining.
Slicks on the wet track surface. I don't really think it can cause that much damage to the tires, but it is what it is. And Andreoli will not take place in Q2. This is very unfortunate. It's yellow flags. And as I was saying, probably some drivers just prefer to stay on the dry conditions setup, while others decided to risk it all, just like Max Mittler and Rodrigo Jimenez. And it didn't work for them. They're out of Q1. We already had some drivers from the top teams being out of Q1, and especially in Hungary, it was because of some slower teams. For example, in 2010, it was Team Fraser, Apopovic, and Senior Kaka. These three drivers out of Q1, and why? Because of HRT. Well, HRT was a meme back then, and I think it is a meme still in FRC. So, the qualifying in 2010 was an HRT memento indeed. Simon Toscan is still on track, preparing for tomorrow's race, it seems, because he'll be no longer racing in this qualifying. Well, the other driver who has one more lap left, Nico Johansson, stays in the pits. Simon Toscan, and I think it's time to end Q1 right now. See you all in Q2. Hello again, and we're back for more craziness in Hungarian today. Looks like the rain has stopped. The track has tried out. That's how fast the weather changes. Today it's sunny. It's not very cloudy. And it's Litmin Paslik on his way to Rinabovich slab. I don't think Abovich will overtake Pasalik. Just for the position on the track. But he has to try. Is 2 more corners left. And Abovich will be starting his lap behind Caterham. I don't know if it was his plan to get a lot of speed on this main straight by just getting the slipstream behind Pasalik. But we'll find out very soon if it was the right decision or not. Toast puts a 25.5. 25.2 I did not really notice. 25.3 for Holker, probably it was 25.2 for Fernando Tost. And I was 52.1, Fernando Toast, it's 51.7, and there is a yellow flag leading Pasalik is out of the race, I mean of the qualifying. And it's a puncture again. Screw you, Pirelli. Lippmann probably thought for himself. But it's the second time in this qualifying. Something is wrong with the tires. And actually seems like it was from a contact with the curb. That's not the best timing. But well, let's say it is a virtual red flag. That's how we will call it. Because I can't really restart the session. Or I can. And I think I'll just restart it. With 12 minutes to go. Ignore the timer. There will be only 12 minutes in this second part of this session. After this red flag, we only have 14 drivers. 6 drivers are out of Q1, plus Andreoli, who blew up a tire and had to crash into the wall, and another driver and a victim of the parallel conspiracy. It was Litmi Pasalik. The session will be over when the timer will show 3 minutes until the end, because there is a 15 minutes limit in GP4 so for qualifying, so you cannot reduce the qualifying time down to 12 minutes. So that's why it will be like this. Rosette Martinez starts his lap. And after sector 1 the time is 25.229. Into turn 5 he goes, as this track has only 14 corners, 3 of them in sector 1, 8 of them in sector 2, and 3 of them again in sector 3. 51.7 for Martinez. Will Armin go faster than the Zauber? Actually, Zauber had a really good pace in Q1. 51.9. It is for Vucic Armin. 52.0 for Paracelsus. Martinez is about to complete his lap. Good exit out of turn 14, and down the main straight he goes. 119.793. Armin is the only Ferrari driver in Q2, and he actually goes slower than Martinez. Tosses up to P1 again. McLaren has a really good pace today. Russian on P6, Fraser P1. What? Holker P5. Abovovich. And he's on 3rd. Aditya Bagos P4. Look like there is nothing to be done with these McLarens today. Blackwood only P3. The gap between Toss and Blackwood is actually 1/10 of a second. That's a lot considering that the track is pretty short. Jake Teasley. Only P11. He was stuck behind Akaza. That's a disaster. He did P3, and this is it for the first runs. Jake is really having some hell of a session. He was only P15 in Q1, and now he's... And in Q2, he was actually stuck behind Hakujakaza on his first run. So that puts Jake in a very difficult position with 7 minutes to go. Probably everyone will have just one more lap. And also, let's not forget that this is the championship leader. He needs to keep his gap in the Drivers' Championship. And also talking about this season's protagonists, Jake Teasley, Bush Carmen, and Adam Hidayat. At least for now, Jake Teasley is 7, the worst qualifying among 3 of them. Vucci Carmen is on P8, not bad, but he's still making it into Q3, and Adam Hidayat is on 3rd place. But let's be real, something weird is actually going on for the top 3 teams of the Constructors' Championship, which are Red Bull, Ferrari, and Lotus. For Red Bull, they have a championship leader in their lineup. It's Jake Teasley, but he's only on P12, and Abovic is outperforming him so far. For Ferrari, it is actually Max Miedler, who could not proceed into Q2 because he was out of Q1. And for Lotus, yes, again, it's only one driver for them in Q2, thanks to Pirelli. Martinez starts his lap first again, and now we have 12 drivers on the track. 4.5 minutes to go. And these are the actual last laps for everyone out there. Now it will be very important for JT Easley not to screw up everything again. Not only for him, but for the team as well. But yeah, actually he has a lot of free space right now, but he is at risk of actually getting closer to Hakujakasa if he will be too fast on this out lap. But however, I'm not sure that this is actually possible. Back to Martinez. It's 15.1.9 after sector 2, and I believe there will be no improvement for him. Benji Rushton is next. He's on P13, had a good pace in Q1, but again he cannot improve on his second run. And yes, he's out. What about Fernando Tost? Improves by 45 thousandths of a second. He's on P2 at the moment, and right behind him is the leader in both Q1 and Q2, Daniel Fraser. Paracelsus also has some problems with the current lap. Adam Hidayat will stay in 3rd, Erika Hanebusa on P11 and Abovic on P5. Nobody actually wants to improve, but Holy Vucci Carmen is going for a Tost. Improves just 126 thousandths of a second away from his teammate. Armin is improving by 1/10 of a second, that's a lot. And most importantly, what about Jake Teasley? What about Jake Teasley here? There he goes, improves by 700ths. But I think as he progresses through this lap, you'll have a good chance of making it into K3. Horlicker on P9, Armin P7, Jafari Blackwood stays on P4 without any improvement. The same goes for his teammate Aditya Bagus. Rosetta Martinez will stay on P8, but yeah, he actually beats Hakujakaze. He has an improvement, but he will not make it into Q3. What about JTSL? 156 thousandths of a second is his improvement after Sector 2. Into turn 14 he goes. And Akaze improves, but most importantly, JTSL is through. He's on P7. 1.5 minutes to go. Probably Martinez will uh, have one more lap, but who knows. I think it's already too late. Oh, what are you doing? Adam Hidiot thought that these McLarens are not real and crashed into Daniel Fraser in the pit lane. So now Daniel would like to block the pit lane. Again, out of Q2 we have Paracelsus, Hayabusa, Rushton, Akaza. On P15 it's Litmin Pasek, and on P16 it's Santina Andreoli. Both of them have now lap times in this session. More craziness awaits us, and in this mid-session break it was raining again, and for some reason the rain has stopped. The track is wet, the wet tires are on, so it will be a full wet session. So who will get the pole position in your opinion? The McLarens were really strong today, with both drivers, Fraser and Toast, finish in Q1 and Q2 on the first two places. And that was a good surprise for their fans and as well for the Torosso fans who are fighting with McLaren, as Torosso is fighting with McLaren for P5, but it was a surprise for them in a bad way. Now let's see how strong these two will be in Q3. Here's Fujikarmin. He starts his lap. And there we go. Into turn 1 he goes. Here we can see a DRS board, but again DRS is disabled because of the current conditions. Into turn 2. That's where we have a lot of crashes. And now turn 3 into turn 4, that's where sector 2 starts, 28.8. Turn 5 into the chicane of 6 and 7. That's where you have to be very careful not to spin on the curb or not to damage your tires like Lithium Pacific did. Now turn 8, turn 9, and here come the S's. Not the Japanese ones, but yeah. These are the chicanes. Turn 11 and 59.1 after sector 2. Turn 12 and now 2 chicanes. Sorry, I meant 2 hairpins. At turn 13 and turn 14. You have to be very careful not to clip the wall on the inside. And Armin 131.998. Bobovich P2. Fernando's up into first place. Look at the gaps. Martinez P4. Adam Hide at P4 now. Martinez is down to 5th. Daniel Fraser, the dominator of Q1 and Q2. Will he beat his teammate? Of course he will by 6/10 of a second! 6/10 of a second in qualifying. How is that possible? Seriously, how? Bagos is up into second, and now he separates the two McLarens of Fraser and Tost. Tilsley on P4, Holker on P10. Fraser is actually extremely good in these wet conditions, it seems. And in the combination with the track being Hungarian, I think he's unstoppable in this qualifying, but I don't really want to jinx him in any way. 10 minutes to go, even less than 10 minutes, and it's enough for Travers to have 2 or at least 1 more lap. There's something glowing in the sky. And I really hope it's not a... I really hope it's not a storm in... it's not a storm a few kilometers away from the track. You can see that sky has got darker. And we might see some rain coming in a few minutes. Carmen, and he's actually faster than Fraser. It's not over in the battle for the pole position. You can still go to Ferrari or any other team. Armin will cross the line and it will not be a provisional pole for him. He's 3/10 of the pace. Habosh is third, so Tost drops down to fifth. Here is the current session leader. 7/100ths of a second faster than his personal best in these wet conditions. There he goes. Will it be an improvement by 3/10 of a second? 3/10 of a second. Fraser is really unstoppable today. But here comes his teammate, Tost. Tost is up to second. But still, half of the second. Slower than Fraser. He's on P7 only. Bagus P5. Jafari Blackwood, he's on P9. He must improve. Martinez is also very high in the standings on P7 and Blackwood is up into second, separating two McLarens again. Teasley, P5. Martinez drops down to 8th. Now Jacob Horlicker. And even if he improves, he will stay on P10. And that's what he does. 3.5 minutes to go. And it's not over yet for most of the drivers.
Remaining.
It's 2 minutes to go. Armin is coming out of the pits. Will he be the only driver who will have 3 laps in this session completed? 3 hot laps, I mean. And yes, he will be. Now it's between Daniel Fraser and Vucek Armin. Armin's on P4 and he is fighting for any position, and it's very important for him as he's fighting for the championship. The pole position will give him a massive boost in tomorrow's race, because it will be much easier to start way ahead from Jack Tilsley than being separated by just one position on the starting grid. Buggis is also on the track, but he's just a bit too late. 40 seconds. $20 seconds to go, and I'm very sure it's only between Armin Fraser and Bagus will not have enough time to start one more lap. And as you can see, it's 3, 2, 1. The time is out. Bagus was just a few seconds late, and probably, if not the delay, he would have got the pole position, but who knows? Who knows? Armin is faster! Armin is faster by 500ths of a second. And Armin really has an advantage in this situation because the track is drying up. Sector 2. Sector 2, he's already slower by almost a second. How could he lose so much time in Sector 2? Or is it just Fraser being so good there? Now it's only turn 13 and 14 for the Ferrari driver, and we will find out who will start from pole position tomorrow. Daniel Fraser for McLaren, or Vucci Armin for Ferrari. Armin comes down the final corner, down the main straight. And it will not be a pole position for him, but it will be a pole position for Daniel Fraser instead for the first time since India in 2012. And it will be a very important pole position for McLaren, as last time they were on top of the standings on Saturday. Well, not really on Saturday, but whatever. Was at their home Grand Prix at Silverstone when Abovic claimed the pole position. So congratulations to McLaren. These two drivers will not be starting from both drivers will not be starting from the front row, but they'll be starting from P1 and P3, separated by the Mercedes driver Jafari Blackwood. That was a very intense qualifying indeed, and thanks everyone for coming and watching. See you tomorrow for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Your commentator was Ruspro. I wish you a good afternoon, a good evening, or good night, and goodbye. Oh, it actually started raining.